Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show.
Rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airwaves and strap in as we
defend the Constitution, because freedom matters.
Broadcasting live from the Kata Studio. Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show. As always, I'm your host, Ho-Ho. How y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. Man, the lag is like really bad tonight. It's like, the lag is really, really horrible. So, welcome everybody. How y'all's doing? We have got so much to get to today. Holy cow. Yeah, we do. And one of the things I'm wanting to start this show off with is this headline from Hot Air, and I have a reason for starting here. I really do. Headline. Oh, wait, let me scroll up to it. The MSM, the mainstream media, isn't biased. It's flatly corrupt. And we're not just talking about mainstream media like CNN, MSNBC, CBS, any of those guys. We're also talking about social media, YouTube, Facebook. And, Twitter was just as bad, and, it may still have issues, but, it's not near as bad as what it used to be. And one of the reasons why I bring this up is because of what happened a few weeks back. I was banned again. I got another strike for medical misinformation. Just so you know, this episode 2 is probably going to get a strike on it because I'm bringing it up again. I don't even care. Now, this is actually from an episode that was published January 22nd of 2022. So last year, like almost a year and a half ago is when this sucker actually got posted. And it was, it had the strike. But here's the funny thing. Everything I said in that episode, now this is what they flagged me for, was for saying stuff that went against CDC, WHO, and, Dr. Anthony Fauci. But the funny thing is, yes, at the time the episode was published, it did go against. However, at the time I got the strike, everything that I said was completely accurate. And, the CDC, the WHO even acknowledged everything of what I said being completely accurate. But yet for some reason, I still got a strike. And I'm like, dude, this is bogus. This isn't misinformation. It's information that you guys don't like. And hello, he says, wow, an early show. Yep. I got something going on tonight at 6. And so I'm starting this sucker off early because we just have so much to talk about. Holy crap. It's been like, what, a month and a half hiatus? Yeah, about a month and a half hiatus. I think it was April something was my last episode. I've had a lot going on, a lot of stuff going on. So, but yeah. Oh, and hello, Dave, over there in Facebook land. Yeah, for some reason, and I don't know why, it doesn't actually give me names in here. Like I said, I don't know why. Oh, wait, nope. We're not blocking the user. I was just clicking on that to see if it would give me anything, and it doesn't. So anyway. So yeah. The mainstream media, holy crap, is biased. Who could have thunk that one? Who could have thunk that one? And, and we're going to get into something a little bit later that really, really demonstrates just how biased the mainstream media is. CNN in particular, as if it's, lost my train of thought. But anyway, Dave puts in here, he goes, you're not the only one having, being busy and whatnot. I'm assuming, just a lot going on, man, with the onset of spring cleaning, and just so much going on, weddings, funerals, everything. It's been busy. It really has been busy. So anyway, another thing I want to talk about, and this is the title of the show, actually, is it not? Lawless. There's backlash whenever, attorney generals, when, prosecuting, DAs don't actually enforce the law. Governors, presidents, they take an oath of office. One of the things that they take an oath of office for is to, faithfully execute the laws of the land. That's one of the things they're supposed to do. The Constitution being first and foremost, because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. But yet, whenever they fail to act in their duty to uphold the law, not just on the police side with, arresting people that break the law and commit crime, but also to prosecute people who break the law and commit crime. There comes a time when what you're going to have is, looking more like the Wild West, where people are forced to take the law into their own hands. And this is what happened in Manhattan. I'm sure that by now y'all have heard about the former Marine that did a rear naked choke. I forget what it's actually called on, somebody, and that person ended up dying. And, it's a shame that he died. And I know the former Marine, I don't remember what his name is. I'm sure I'm sure the thing in here says, but, he didn't mean to actually kill him. Come on, it doesn't take, a whole heck of a lot of common sense to know that that wasn't his intention. But the only thing, and this is one of the things, it's a wisdom that I got in a movie. The only thing that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And when you have a lawless society where the law doesn't mean anything, and then, you call the cops on somebody, and what happens? Well, in very little time, they're back out on the street. Nothing happens. No arrest, no fine, no nothing. They're processed, and then they're released for things up to and including murder. This kind of stuff's going to happen. Whenever people are living in fear, this is what happens. This is what happens. Like it or hate it, you can't condemn the guy for what happened, because he did what nobody else is willing to do. And as you can see in this video, several people are there, but you know what? Nobody said, hey, you're going too far. Nobody said, hey, you know what? He's down. Let's let him go. No. Nobody thought it was excessive. Nobody. I feel for the guy's family, but it never would have happened if he hadn't have acted the way he did. I hate to say it like that, but it's just the truth. He acted a fool. He was threatening to kill people. And I know former Marines, they can't just let that happen, but isn't that exactly what the Democrats would have us do? Isn't that what they want us to do, is just take the beating, just get the crap beat out of us? Who cares what's actually going on? The criminals in this country at this point have more rights than what the average everyday citizen does. Illegal immigrants have more rights than you and I do. It's a sham. It's a shame. But this is what happens. I feel bad for the former Marine that had to protect himself and the other people on that subway car. Because he's got to live with what he did for the rest of his life. He's got to live with that decision that he made. The decision to protect himself, protect the other people on there, and it's a shame. I don't know if you guys heard that, but there's a storm going on over here. Thunder, lightning. We should be fine now. Power over here is pretty good, so I don't foresee any issues. And yeah, now that I said that, we're probably going to have issues. That would be hilarious. I'm sorry. That would be funny. For me, that'd be funny, especially since I brought it up. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So he actually was released on bail. The guy who, choked him out. So that's a good thing. Released on bail. But here's the thing, though. And this is kind of where my point goes into. Okay. You have attorney generals, district attorneys, the whole 9 yards, that are not doing anything for criminals. It's a process and release. You can go into a store and you can steal. It varies from, location to location, jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but you can go in there and you can steal all kinds of crap, and there's nothing anybody will do about it because the cops won't do anything because they won't prosecute. They won't even arrest you. You get to keep all the merchandise that you stole. And the sad thing is that you have businesses like Walgreens in several different locations and, that are shutting down and say, hey, we'd be glad to come back if they would ever get wise on these policies and start prosecuting people. As it is right now, we're losing too much money, and we can't stay here. A company like Walgreens that goes above and beyond to help out the people in that area that they serve, and they're getting stabbed in the back by the very people that they're trying to help by keeping their prices low. Everything else, that by keeping their shelves stocked as much as they possibly can, and now they have to shut down because lawlessness. How crazy is that? It's sad. But it ticks me off when you have this kind of stuff going on. And then you have somebody that defends himself, defends others, a former Marine, stand in the void where the police, where the DA has failed. They won't prosecute any of the criminals, but they'll sure prosecute this guy for murder too, or manslaughter too. I forget which one the actual crime is, but yeah. Really? You won't prosecute a criminal. You'll let people assault and do everything else, kill, and not do anything about it. But this guy, for standing up and doing what's right, yeah, something bad happened. An unintended consequence, because that's what this is. This guy you're going to prosecute. Bravo, Sierra. It absolutely is. There's no other way to put it. There's no two ways about it. You can't spin it any other way. Because this happened because the law failed. Not the law. I really can't say that because it wasn't the law that failed. Anytime anything happens, it's not the law that fails. A mass shooting, it wasn't the law that failed. A murder, a homicide, it wasn't the law that failed. A traffic accident, it wasn't the law that failed. A high-speed chase, it wasn't the law that failed. It was somebody decided that they was going to ignore the law, and that's what happened. So when the law enforcement fails, this is what happens. When enforcement fails, when there's no enforcement, when there's no application of the laws don't mean anything. And this is what we're seeing going on time and time again on so many different levels. What we don't have in this nation anymore is an equal application of the law. We don't have equal justice under the law. We don't have equal application of the law. It just depends as to how it's going to affect you. Whatever happened to the America I knew? Because I sure miss it. I really do. We do not have equal application of the law. And we're going to get into so many different things. Talking about that one in this episode. And next, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when I return, we're going to be talking about the migrants. The expiration of Title 42, what the House Republicans, a bill that they did, and now that they have completely lost control at the southern border, now they decided they want to do something, even though on day one, Biden purposefully just threw everything that President Trump succeeded at on the southern border, threw it right out the window, and they're surprised when all this crap is happening. And by the way, it isn't because of Title 42. That's not what's going on here. It's an open border policy by this administration. That's what the problem is. That's why we're having the issues. It doesn't have anything to do with Title 42 expiring because, all this flood of immigrants didn't happen at midnight. It happened actually 8 hours before, and we're going to get into that. Don't go anywhere.
Have you ever sat down on your throne just to find out that you are dangerously low on shift tickets, making it to where you have to make a mad dash to the store just to pick yourself up some? If this has ever happened to you, pick up the #1 most rated toilet paper found in Uranus and use what the professionals use. Angel Soft. See, I'm just not a fan of some toilet paper. Some of them it's like putting a pillow between your nice rosy. Others, like John Wayne toilet paper, it's like using sandpaper. But do what the professionals use. Use the type of toilet paper that is the Goldilocks of brands, Angel Soft. Available wherever toilet paper is sold.
And we are back. And it just occurred to me, I really need to do a few more of these promos. And I think one for Uranus Fudge Factor would be definitely appropriate. I think that would be hilarious. Although that one I wouldn't have to do anything to that one, kind of like my anti-monkey butt powder one for, anti-monkey butt powder. Yeah, because I didn't do anything to that one. Everything on there is actually off the label, which is hilarious. And I can basically do the same thing with all the advertisements that, Uranus Fudge Factory has done, because that's just absolutely hilarious. It's funny that the best fudge is found in Uranus. Yeah. I got several other ones too. So anyway. Moving on. We are talking the border crisis. Holy crap. You know, it's no surprise that for quite a while, really ever since, you know, Biden took office and, you know, put a stop to the Trump era stay in Mexico policy and the other things that was actually working, they have been saying that the border is secure. This headline from Hot Air, Hakeem Jeffries, border crisis is fiction. Really? The border crisis is fiction. What do you call it then? You know, it's secure, really. I mean, the numbers of how many people cross the border, and these are just what we know of, is staggering. Before the end of Title 42, there was, you know, well, this headline says 80,000 migrants was sitting at the border. And of course, you know, okay. This one says 80,000 migrants headed to the U.S. border. What could go wrong? Yeah. What could go wrong? But from the reports that I seen, we had sitting at the border prior to the expiration of Title 42, 100,000 migrants with 500,000 on the way. Let me say that again. Prior to the expiration of Title 42, we had 100,000 immigrants sitting at the border with 500,000 on the way from various countries. Some of them getting a free pass from Mexico to cross their nation and finally wind up here in the United States. The border is open. The whole entire point of this is to drown you out. You know, we've heard it been called replacement theory. I've heard another one not that long ago that was pretty good. I don't remember what it is. But that's what they're doing. They are wanting to, you know, and here's the thing, okay? Here's what I keep hearing time and time again. And this actually, I mean, it ticks me off because for the longest time, ever since Reagan, okay, so we're talking what? 1980-ish, 82, 84. I don't remember. When did, you know, Ronald Reagan become president? I don't remember. I know Jimmy Carter was president whenever I was born. And then after that, I believe was Reagan. So ever since then, what Congress has been crying about is we have a broken immigration system. That's what they keep telling us. That's what they keep saying. We have a broken system. And then they want to berate the Border Patrol for enforcing the law. And it's like, and I seen this thing, you know, you had a top border Patrol guy that was, you know, getting berated by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on, you know, just on how the law was being upheld. And it's like, excuse me, who writes the laws? All I am is enforcing it. So if you have a problem with the law, why don't you change it? That's your job. My job is to enforce. Your job is to write the law. If you don't like the immigration policies, then change it. But that's not what happens. That's not what happens at all. What happens instead is you have Democrat leaders that says the border is open. Holy crap, people come flooding in from all over the place, not just Mexico and not just Central America. They come from all over the place. We have had several people cross that were on the terrorist watch lists. Several, all kinds of them. But they've been crying for years, practically my entire life, that the immigration system is broken. But what they expect us to do as citizens is just accept it. You know, it's okay that they come here. It's okay that they break the law. It's okay because they're just dreamers. It's okay. They're just looking for a better life. That's fine. All they're doing is, they're wanting asylum. It's like, well, dude, either we're a sovereign nation or we're not. Either we have borders or we don't. Either we have laws that should be followed or we don't. 87,000 new IRS agents to go after you and me for that nickel that is under the cushion of our couch that we didn't claim, and all of this other crap going on. You want to save us a butt ton of money? Let's close the border. That would actually do more than what hiring these 87,000 IRS agents could ever dream of doing. Because that's money that we won't have to spend. I mean, you can go to the welfare's own website, with Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. You can go to their own website, for people that qualify for aid. And it's like basically anybody, any immigrant, illegal or otherwise. All they got to do is show up. They'll be taken care of. They can do all kinds of things. They can have gender reaffirming surgery. It's okay. We'll pay for it. And you and me. Not government. Where do you think government gets their money from? They get their money from us. How are they going to pay for it? Well, that's what they got the 87,000 IRS agents for. Machine, hello over there in YouTube land. He goes, why tell me you're going live? Well, hey, I'm going live. I had to do it early. And besides, I put a post in Facebook. Come on, man. Don't you read Facebook? Anyway. They don't do anything to protect the border. On the way, 500,000. Where are we going to put them? Isn't that a big question is where we're going to put them? Now, I've heard all kinds of theories as to where they may end up putting them. I've heard quite a few theories. And the sad thing is, the scary thing is, all of it actually makes sense. It really does. By using HUD, the land that the federal government has already paid for, already bought from states for whatever purpose. The power that they have in the EPA of how they can just, take a piece of land and rezone it for whatever they want to rezone it for, regardless of whether that area, that township, that city can handle it. Doesn't matter. They'll do it. And you'll just have to go along with it. They're not going to give you any choice. But they're doing this for a reason. And they're trying to get this done as quickly as possible because they are absolutely terrified of what is going to happen in 2024 if they do nothing. Because if they don't do something quick, if they don't get these various red states switched to blue, then they're afraid that they won't win. What's the easiest way to do that? We got 600,000 immigrants right here knocking on our door. And that's not even counting the ones that have already come that we don't even know about. I mean, there is a butt ton of illegal immigrants in the United States that have been getting transported from one place to another. And that's what they want to do. Give them IDs, let them vote, and then all these various states that have previously been red are turning blue. And there's nothing we can do about it. What are you going to do? I mean, yeah, we've had governors try to do different things. Governor of Texas, governor of, Florida. They've done all kinds of awesome stuff that is absolutely hilarious. I love it. I applaud them for it. But it's not even a drop in the ocean compared to what's coming. It's not even a drop in the ocean compared to what's already here. These little bitty things that has happened isn't much more than just trying to get people's attention as to what's going on. And this is what they're dealing with, but it really doesn't matter, because until it comes to your own backyard, actually, let me rephrase this. Until it comes right to the backyard of the people who actually make the decisions, nothing's going to happen. And by the way, they're not going there. And if they do, just like what happened at Martha's Vineyard, they ain't going to stay. They were off the bus and onto another one in less than 24 hours. They didn't stay. They claim to be a sanctuary city, but they're anything but, because they just want to look good, but they're not actually going to do good. Because they're not the ones that has to suffer for the policies that they have. And that's the simple truth. Socialism is good for the socialists, not so much for the people. Huge difference. You know, normally I invite people to read the Constitution. And, you know, that's always a good thing. You know, you've got to know from whence we come, from which we came. You got to know. You got to read the Bill of Rights. You got to know the Bill of Rights, because if you don't know the freedoms that you have, then you'll never know when you should stand up and defend them. But today I want you to go a little step further. Yeah, I want you to read the Bill of Rights. But what I also want you to do is read the 10 pillars of communism and ask yourself, when you read each one, and I've got some stuff typed up on this. That our nation more resembles a communist nation with what is going on, what our nation has done to its people, that it's staggering. Declaration of Independence, like 32 or 33 different, transgressions that we called the king out on. All of them our nation is doing to us now within the past 2.5, 3 years, maybe even sooner. Every one of them our government is doing to us now. The 10 pillars of communism, our government is doing every one of those to us now. While they're trying to restrict our rights, while they're trying to restrict our First Amendment rights, while they're trying to take away our Second Amendment rights, that the 10 pillars of communism is going on strong. The abolition of private property. What are they trying to do right now? They're trying to get rid of your vehicles and force everybody into public transportation. Yeah, that might not mean a whole heck of a lot to somebody like me that, lives out, in, a smaller city, but it's still coming. They still want to abolish personal property. They want to build up instead of building out. They want to move people wherever they want to. And what do you think they're going to do with these 600,000 immigrants? They're going to put them somewhere. They're going to take away your voice by putting in a bunch of people that they know is going to be bound to the Democrat Party, and there's nothing you can do about it. They can do whatever they want to at that particular point in time. What are you going to do? Nothing. You ain't doing nothing. They're already here. An army is already here with a butt-ton more on the way, with a sole purpose of changing our government to enforce their own will on our federal government, on our state government, on our local government. It's happening now. It's an invading army. They might not have weapons of mass destruction, but believe you me, the Democrats want to give them the power of voting to change everything. That's what they want to do. And all they're doing is telling us, just brace for the chaos. Just deal with it. They're coming. Just deal with it. That's what they're telling us to do. Comrade. Yeah, the machine puts in here, he says, already told people about the 10 pillars. Nobody listens. Yeah. I mean, and it's a shame that most people they don't. I mean, and I hate to say it, man, and I know you're aware, it's kind of like how Republicans or whatever want to flex, we're the silent majority. Who cares? Who cares if you're the silent majority? Because here's what happened. The Democrats, the communists, the socialists, all the fascists, they've been playing a long game on us. Okay, they went from top to bottom and they put their people in. And the entire time, the Republicans, the Libertarians, the Patriots, we've been resting on our principles and resting on our morals. We've been going to work and paying for things. We've been entrusting the government to people that, we hoped that they would actually honor their oaths of office and they would do what it is they're supposed to be doing. And then next thing you know, something happened that forced a spotlight on government, and we were like, oh crap. Our education system went from educating to indoctrinating. The legislative branch doesn't really write laws anymore. It's the executive branch. Well, who's enforcing the law? Well, nobody. The FBI does not, they're a political hit people for Biden. We found out all too late when the damage has already been done, whenever they have all this stuff established from top to bottom, and now it's like, what are you going to do? It's so deeply entwined into everything that is going on. Government from top to bottom is controlled like this. It's all run by like this. We've rested on being the silent majority, being proud of that for far too long. But what happened in the meantime? The Democrats were out there appealing to people, lying to people, and for some reason people believed them. And then whenever we woke up, we seen what was going on, and we're like, holy crap. This sucks. This ain't right. None of this is right. Yeah, well, it's not. But this is what we got. What are you going to do about it? Going to change the law? Why? They have all the power. How can you change the law? Oh, you're going to put somebody like President Trump up. Doesn't matter. They're going to cheat, and they're going to cheat, as they say, legally. Because even though the Constitution says that the all of the elections are, all of that stuff is supposed to be run by the legislative branch. Well, it doesn't really matter, I guess, if the governors and the judges in various locations make changes to it. I guess that's okay. I mean, even though the Constitution doesn't allow for it, I guess it's okay, right? The governors did it. The judges did it. It's not their power, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? The legislators who are supposed to represent the people, they don't exercise their power. The judges, their job is to protect the Constitution. They apparently don't care because it's all about party politics. That's what everything's about now. And in the meantime, all we're supposed to do is just deal with it. That's nice. Good to know. And I'll put this under the too little too late. This headline from Florida Phoenix. U.S. House passes bill to reinstate Trump-era immigration policies. Okay, let me ask you this. How are you going to enforce it? Who's going to enforce it? Nobody's going to enforce it. That's the answer. I mean, do you really think a DA, do you really think an attorney general with, that doesn't do anything to go against Biden is really going to make sure that the Trump era immigration policies are followed? And by the way, we have 500,000 more immigrants on the way. What, is it going to happen after they all get here? And by then, as Hillary Clinton said, at that point, what difference is it going to make? That's a darn good question, isn't it? That is a darn good question. We're going to go ahead and take another break. And when I return, we are going to be talking about Trump. Because we got a couple things going on with former President Trump. The town hall, the lawsuit. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about because there's some interesting stuff in here that I found laughable. Again, we're not going to enforce the law equally. We're not going to apply it equally. We don't have equal justice in this nation, but yet we'll get into that right after this. Have you ever had an ailment that a normal over-the-counter remedy just couldn't fight? If this is the case, then boy, have I got the solution for you. Tussin. That's right, Tussin. Cough? Tussin. Cold? Tussin. Runny nose? Tussin. Itchy watery eyes? Tussin. Broken leg? Tussin. Tussin is the ultimate cure-all, guaranteed to stop anything that ails you. Tussin. Available wherever OTCs are sold. All right, and we are back. Okay, yeah. All right, I must have hit the button one too many times, but that's okay. Everything seems to be good. All right, so I'm sure by this point y'all have heard about the rape charge that former President Donald J. Trump was convicted of, but it wasn't a criminal charge. Obviously, the statute of limitations has already passed. However, that didn't stop her from doing a civil lawsuit. And here's where things get a little strange, okay? Evidently, there was two things that President Trump was charged with: rape and defamation. Well, he wasn't actually found guilty of rape because, Carol, she couldn't remember the date. All she knew was the where. I guess there was two people that she used as witnesses that couldn't actually say this is what happened, only that this is where it happened, not this is when it happened, but we don't even know what happened because we seen her after the fact, so we don't even know. And one of the things that was brought into the courtroom as evidence wasn't even evidence of anything. It was a picture that, that at most all it proves is that President Trump was in the area. Okay. So the jury didn't think as though President Trump was guilty of rape. So what they decided to do instead was make him guilty of assault. And then they found him guilty also of defamation, which, this is kind of crazy to me because I thought we had free speech. I thought we had the right to basically say whatever. And when in America is it against the law to defend yourself in public? They didn't even find him guilty of the rape. And he was saying that accusation was bogus. The rape charge is absolutely bogus. They didn't find him guilty, or I guess I should say liable for the rape, but they did find him liable for defamation and saying that it was bogus. How in the world does this happen? So, of course, President Trump he's going to appeal. Of course he's going to appeal. I don't know where. I don't know any of that crap. But yeah, I don't get it. The machine puts something in here. I'm not going to read it word for word. He says the man can get any woman he wants, but he rapes the ugly one. I doubt it. And this happened, like somewhere between 27, 29 years ago. She doesn't even know the when. She's confused on the whole thing. Yeah. And just like Brett Kavanaugh, they're like, oh, believe all women, believe all women. Well, didn't Biden get an accusation and why did nothing happen about it? Why was there no, oh yeah, and by the way, the entire lawsuit was funded by, I believe it was the owner of LinkedIn, if I'm not mistaken. He's the one who actually, paid for the lawyer and got the whole thing, he bankrolled the entire thing. The owner of LinkedIn, he bankrolled the entire lawsuit, an expensive lawyer, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. And it's funny because that's actually, based off of what the machine said here. He was like, I don't know who she is. I have no idea who this woman is. I don't know. He doesn't know her. He doesn't remember. I mean, look at his wife and then look at Jean Carroll. Yeah. Just throwing that out there. I'm not ugly shaming anybody. Lord knows I'm ugly. But that's like, never mind. Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny. Okay, because here, I'm going to be honest with you guys, okay? I see all of the accusations, all of the impeachments of President Donald Trump, everything that he's been accused of, ever since he came down off the escalator. Been watching it in real time. Been watching in real time what has happened, the accusations and the cover-ups of, Hillary Clinton. With all of that crap, with the, classified documents. Been watching how they've treated President Trump with classified documents. Watch how they have treated Biden with classified documents. Watch how we know darn good and well they would treat his kids versus how they're treating Biden's kids. Knowing how it would actually play out. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care. And I'm sure that there are a lot of Republicans out there that feel the same. President Trump can go up to somebody and flat shoot him in the face. We wouldn't care. Why? Why should we care now about the law whenever the Democrats don't care, and they haven't since day one? They don't care about anything the Biden family has done. They don't care anything about the Clinton Foundation and what the Clintons have done. They don't care. Why should we? At this point, I don't care what Biden or what Trump does. I'm still going to back him. I'm still going to support him. And it seems like everybody else has the same idea too, because it's great. After this happened, his poll numbers went up. Oh, but it gets worse. You see, there was a town hall a few days ago. There was a town hall that was on CNN. Now, I don't know if you all know, there's a difference between an interview, there's a difference between a debate, and there's a difference between a town hall. Okay? A debate is a debate. You got two people sitting in a chair and they're debating. They're going over things that, one is attacking the other, more or less. That's what you have. A town hall, you have a moderator who is supposed to be there to kind of, get the ball rolling on different topics and incorporate the people, the audience, the people who are there, and the person who's there at the town hall, in this case, President Trump. That's what you have with that. And then you have an interview. Somebody whom is asking questions on the behalf of their viewers, their audience, what have you. That's what you have. So you have a debate where two people are attacking each other's policies. You have an interview where somebody is asking somebody else questions based off of who their audience is and what their audience want to see. And a town hall who you have a mediator there that's kind of like an interviewer where the questions are being asked by the audience. This, even though it was called a town hall, it was in no way, shape, or form a town hall. This was more like a debate. It was more like an attack, because that's exactly what happened from the word go. She went after Trump like I have never seen happen ever in a town hall. Well, I can't really say that, because this is what the Democrats do. This is what mainstream media does. And how could President Trump ever think that it would go any different with CNN, the ones whom he dubbed as the fake news network? I don't think he dubbed it the fake news network. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's what they are. But here's what's great. President Trump didn't go in there with his eyes closed. He went in there knowing exactly what was going to happen, and he showed up with receipts. That's what is so freaking awesome about this. One of the things they talked about was January 6th riots. They were like, why were you... Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me take a drink. They were like, why were you so quiet on this? And he's like, I wasn't quiet. Here's a post from January 5th, the day before the incident, saying, hey, we need to support the cops. You guys need to show up, and you need to do it peacefully. How is that instigating and, provoking rioters from doing bad stuff? How is that? It isn't. And here's and he put a timestamp on there and said, this is what I said on Twitter. I'm no longer on Twitter. Now I'm on True Social, which is far superior. His words, not mine. That's what he said. I thought it was hilarious. And this is what I said. And he says the readout. And then he goes, and for some reason, they took it down. And they shut down my account. I mean, now I said it. Well, what more do you want from me? I mean, you guys are accusing me of being absent. Y'all are accusing me of, instigating this, being the front man for this entire thing, and nothing could be farther from the truth. We've known this since day one, and President Trump, again, in true Trumpian fashion, oh, you want to accuse me of something? I brought receipts. I did tell people to be peaceful. And I did tell them to stop, cease and desist. But for some reason, it was taken down, and all you people in the mainstream media ignore that fact because it doesn't fit their narrative. Isn't that what happens? That's what always happens. So, yeah. Now you've got, CNN, I mean, and they've been, they've been circling the wagons ever since this happened. They got so much backlash out of this. I think they knew from the very beginning of it that this was bad. This was very, very bad. And what's pathetic. Now President Trump said something a while back ago. He said that, what they are really after you. I'm merely standing in the way. That's why they're attacking me. They're not attacking me. They're attacking you. I'm in the way, so I'm taking the brunt of this. That's what he said a while back ago whenever he was president, whenever he was running for president. I don't remember which, but that's what he said. I'm standing in the way. They really want to attack you. And the audience, in several places, you can hear them cheer. They're loving it. I didn't hear the whole thing. I've heard many clips about it. And yeah, I was laughing quite a lot. It was pretty funny. It was a good time. Boy, howdy, was it ever a good time. And CNN was like, this is what is coming. The people that are in the audience are the very idiots, ideologues, the extremists that we want to silence, that we are trying to protect you all from. Speaking, CNN speaking to their audience. They see us as deplorable, as Hillary Clinton once called us. They don't want, they think we're stupid. They think we're idiots. And, in some cases, and maybe in a lot of cases, we are. We've allowed all this crap to happen. Of course, we're idiots. They think we're good for nothing. See, these stupid people that are clapping for Trump, those are your family members. Those are your neighbors. You're this, you're that, you're other. Basically, what they're doing is they are, and I've seen this happen before. I won't say when and where at this particular point in time, but they are making us out to be the enemy. They're making us out to be monsters. Because if you change the narrative of a people and you call them monsters, it takes away our humanity and it makes it easier for them to do whatever they deem necessary to complete their agenda. I'm going to say that again. They're wanting to turn us into monsters, to dehumanize us, to bring legitimacy to anything they want to do to advance their agenda. You fill in the blank on what that might be. Let your imagination go. I don't bring a lot of movie stuff into this show anymore, but the whole Black Mirror podcast, or several episodes in there. One of them is very, reminiscent of Agenda 21. And that is actually a 2-part book that Glenn Beck wrote a while back ago. I read them, both of them. Very interesting books. And it's something that, that this Agenda 21, it isn't conspiracy theory. It's what they actually want to do. And he wrote a book depicting what life would be like if they actually got this accomplished. They have plans to get it done. Concentration camps is kind of like, it's almost like the Hunger Games. It's, but it goes beyond that. I mean, there's, yeah. They want to justify whatever they do, and they've already started the attacking. Trying to make us less than human. All right. We are actually going to go ahead and take another quick break. And when I return, we're going to be talking about the Bidens. Now, this is one that there is so much information right now. Trying to follow everything will just make your head spin. Let's just say there is so much going on right now, so many connections that has been made, banks, LLCs, family members involved. There's a lot going on. The machine put in there, he goes, Hakeem Jeffries does nothing but what? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So talk about Biden, some of the information that's coming on. So, yeah, I'll be right back.
Do you work at any of the myriad of jobs where you might have to sit on your bum all day? Well, if so, maybe you know what it's like to suffer from the condition known as swamp ass. Well, if so, have I got the solution for you.
Anti-monkey butt powder.
That's right.
Anti-monkey butt powder.
You can use it indoors, outdoors, work or play, or on any occasion when you sit on your bum all day. Don't let your buns get red. Use anti-monkey butt powder instead. Available wherever anti-friction powder is sold.
All right, and we are back. Now, we're actually going to start this segment off by talking about the debt ceiling. Yeah. Now, of course, you know, they always like to say that the debt ceiling doesn't allow us to spend more. It just allows us to pay the bills on the money that has already been spent. Yeah. And what the president wants is a clean bill. Basically, he wants the Republicans to just give in to the demands of the White House and raise the debt ceiling without any adjustments to spending, the bill, anything, because that's what the whole goal was whenever they actually put forth a budget right before the seating of the new Congress. The whole point of doing that was so that this way they wouldn't be tied down by a Republican-run House of Representatives. That's what the whole point was, and we were all furious whenever they did that. And now we have a Republican-controlled House of Representatives, Democrat-controlled Senate, and, of course, a Democrat-controlled White House. And more or less the Democrats from top to bottom, they were like, there is no way that Kevin McCarthy is going to be able to get all of the Republicans in one room and agree on anything. That's what they were betting on. Because the Democrats figured that they were just going to strong-arm Republicans into giving in to their demands. Enough said. That's what they were wanting. That's what they were expecting. That's what they were hoping was going to happen. Well, that's not what happened. Instead, Kevin McCarthy sat down with the entirety of the Republicans, and they came up with something that was not everything that we would have hoped for, but it was more than what, I think we were really expecting. In a matter of speaking out, I want more. Because this country doesn't have a debt crisis. We have a spending crisis. We need to do better. They're saying that within the next 10 years, our debt is going to be over $50 trillion. There's going to come a point in time, and holy crap, it's pretty much here, that we're not going to be able to pay the interest off of our debt, period. We're not going to be able to pay it. They say that we're servicing the debt. Really? Are we? Are we? Because if you take into consideration our actual debt, which is over $30 trillion at this point, and you take in there also the unfunded liabilities, which is, retirements, it's, pensions and Medicare, Medicaid, I think is in there as well. Social Security is in there. All of that stuff is in there. And you're talking well over $100 trillion that we're in debt. As I heard, like over $130 trillion is where we actually are if you take everything into consideration, which they don't. It's a numbers game that they play. And along with one of those numbers games, what they're trying to say and how they're trying to scare people into this, and this headline comes from the Peacock, Social Security advocates brace for U.S. debt default with payments to beneficiaries at stake. And that is an outright lie. Social Security is one of them things that is protected as per a bill that even if they do go through a government lockdown, even if they go into default, which isn't actually accurate, Social Security is not at risk of not getting paid. It's going to get paid. I don't think people understand that, the government doesn't just get money in quarterly. They don't just get money in on April 15th once a year. They get money coming in every single month. It's not like they're not going to be able to pay their debts. It's that they can't pay everything all at once, and they're going to have to pick and choose what it is they're going to fund. And heaven forbid they stop funding things like foreign aid to our enemies that hate us. Like they're going to not fund different things like gender studies in Pakistan. These are the things that they want to continue to fund, and heaven forbid they have to make choices as to what they actually fund. No, we don't actually have a debt ceiling crisis right now. That's what they don't want to tell you. They get money coming in each and every month, and they're just going to have to make a choice as to where this money goes. They want to be fully funded because they don't want to have to make that choice because they've already spent the money. Or at least it's on its way out the door. And that brings me to the case in hand. Because the Democrats, like I said, were betting on the idea that McCarthy would not be able to rally the troops and get something passed. Well, he was proven wrong. And we know this because President Biden refused to meet with McCarthy until just recently. Last week sometime was whenever he first met with McCarthy? Like over 80 days into this negotiation process that Biden was nowhere to be found. He was hiding in the basement. Yeah. And then McCarthy did what nobody thought he would be able to do. He gave a small increase to the debt ceiling, did some cuts to spending, 1% cut over the next, or 1% cut every year to every department over the next 10 years, which is going to save in that time frame almost $5 trillion. Very, very modest. Taking us back to the spending plan of 2022. Bringing back, reappropriating the money that went out for COVID because COVID is now over. So bringing all that money back to government so it can be reappropriated again. Reappropriated. Wow. Yeah. A lot in there. There really is. And now they went a step further, and there is enough senators, Republican senators, 43 was the last number that I heard, that are behind the House Republicans entirely, which means that the Democrats do not have a filibuster-proof majority to just get this thing passed without any debate on the floor whatsoever. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Mitch McConnell is not one of the people that is supporting this. He's one of the people that's on the side of the Democrats. He doesn't think that they should be doing this, obviously, because he's one of them who had a very, who played a front line role in this with what happened right before the new senators took office by getting that huge budget passed through the House of Representatives and the Senators. That was his contribution. Now he's silent. Now he's nowhere to be found. Now he doesn't have anything to say whatsoever because he's not really a Republican. He's a Democrat. I'm not even going to give him the title of a rhino. Republican in name only. No, he's a Democrat. I think he's pretty well demonstrated that through and through. How can you deny it at this point in time? I have no idea. And one of the things that Biden is wanting to do is use the 14th Amendment. Ignoring the context of the 13th Amendment, they're wanting to talk about, the Section 4, which talks about the full faith or credit of the U.S. debt. But they're totally ignoring Section 5, which says that the power of this lies solely in Congress, basically saying that it's the House of Representatives that gets to dictate how this is used and how it's done. The president has nothing to do with the 14th Amendment. He can't do jack, even in the amendment he's trying to say gives him the power to just throw out the debt ceiling and spend money as he sees fit. And if you believe the president has this power, then whatever happened to separation of powers? The budget doesn't come from the president of the United States of America. The money doesn't get spent from the president. The money doesn't get spent from even the senators, not the judges, not the Supreme Court, nobody, only the House of Representatives. That's where all bills for revenue must originate. Period. End of story. That's what the Constitution says. You don't believe me? I don't care. It's fact. Nothing else. I don't care if you like it. And the 14th Amendment does not give the president any power whatsoever to single-handedly raise the debt ceiling without Congress. That's a move that only Congress can do. Should we default? Absolutely. If that's going to prove to the Democrats that we're actually serious about fixing the problem, and that's out of control spending. We don't need to fund the 87,000 IRS agents. That's a bill they can not pay, and it'll be okay. We really could use a break in being a charity for every nation on the planet. 192 different countries we just give money to. We can stop doing that. We can default on that. That's not a payment. That's not a payment. It's a charitable contribution. You can't default on a charitable contribution. But you can say, we're no longer going to do this because we need to get our house in order. That's not defaulting. If we don't pay for gender studies in Afghanistan, that's not defaulting on that. We shouldn't be paying for that in the first place. And I know the new one isn't gender studies in Afghanistan or in Pakistan. It's something else. But, it goes along the same lines. Something stupid, something ridiculous that somebody decided would be a good thing to spend money on that we shouldn't be spending money on it. Period. End of story, moving on. But that's what, that's what they want to say is in jeopardy. But no. Let me take that back. They've already decided they're going to spend their money there. They've already decided that. That's pork belly spending. That's exactly what they want to spend money on. But they don't want to spend money on you. That's why they're trying to scare you with articles like this one from Peacock News. The Social Security advocates the brace for U.S. debt default with payments to beneficiaries at stake. Yeah, because that's what they want to do. They want to take away your payments. They want to take away the payments to the VA. They want to take away payments of Medicare, Medicaid. They want to take away all that crap because what's more important to them? Making good on payments to the American people or making good on failed policies and paying for crap in other nations, overseas, everything else, giving money to people who hate us and paying for things like gender studies in Pakistan. That's what they care more about. Social Security isn't at risk at defaulting. But they don't want to think about what could be at stake. Taking care of all the people that they made promises to, taking care of all the people that donated them money that got them elected into office in the first place. The machine puts in and goes, only 4 countries in the world deserve actual monetary donations. Everyone else can be happy with material donations only. I really respect the way China does it. I really do. China doesn't give nothing away. They don't. When Venezuela, no, let me take this back. When China approached Venezuela and said, hey, we would love to help you out, they said, okay, great. What are you guys willing to do? It's like, oh, we'll do this, 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 and this. And they were like, oh, fantastic. And they go, but you're giving us mineral rights. You're giving us drilling rights. You want us to do this. You want us to help with your infrastructure. You want us to build roads, build ports. That's fine. We'll do that. But we're not giving you something for nothing. This is a business transaction. If you want our help, we want mineral rights, period, end of story. That's the way China does it. We give these donations, we just give them charity, expecting that we'll get something good in return whenever all we've ever gotten from day one, whenever we started doing this, was stabbed in the back by the very people that we've been giving billions of money away to help. Why do we keep doing it? Isn't insanity defined as doing something over and over again, but somehow expecting that someday we'll get different results? I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, but isn't that what insanity is every single day, every single month, every single year? We put in the budget, let's help out people and get nothing in return. And then we're surprised whenever they stab us in the back. We're surprised whenever Iraq and Iran go against us and they go to Russia, they go to China, and they form an axis and it's bad. When they go behind our back and do things against the United States, we're like, but we gave you all this money. Well, how can you be mad at us? We did everything you wanted us to. What? Okay, we'll just give you more. Will that help things out? Well, yeah, that could help things out. Yeah, give us more money, and then we use that money to pay for a rocket, and then we shove it right up America's butt. That's what they do. And we keep falling for this time and time again, every single time. But China, well, they don't do that. They're like, oh, you want money? Fine. Yeah, we would love to put a road there, but you know, you're paying for it. You have oil. We want oil. We'll take your land rights. That's what China does. Why don't we do business like China? Why don't we? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because Biden's in bed with China. That's right. He is. This article from CNN Politics. House Republicans allege Biden family members receive millions in payments from foreign entities in new bank records report. Now, this I've been following for some time. And when I say I have forgotten more information than I remember, believe that. Because we are talking between 9 and 12 Biden family members that are involved in this. We're talking over 150. What's the term for this? Suspicious reports that banks has done. Over 15 banks, over 100 and how many LLCs? Over 100 LLCs that are just nothing more than shell companies. They're not legitimate businesses. They're shell companies that have the names of, like I said, somewhere between 9 and 12 Biden family members, including some of Biden's grandchildren. Buying influence. Buying consideration. Buying, hey, don't shoot down our balloon whenever we fly it over different places over the U.S. Hey, we're going to make a push to batteries for electronic vehicles. Why don't you help us out a little bit? And lo and behold, Biden said, okay, fine. We're going to shut down oil in the United States. We're going to put a 20-year moratorium so that this way we can't mine our own rare earth. And this way you can go ahead and do whatever you want to. Meanwhile, Hunter's sitting on Burisma with oil from other companies and also being part of a land deal in Africa for their rare earth minerals. Oh, you didn't know that one, did you? So Biden's helping out China through his son and making policies to cripple our involvement in this race. Where do you think we're going to buy these batteries from? China. And yet you're going to say that Biden isn't in the pocket of China? That he's not in the pocket of Russia? That he's not in the pocket of what? Rwanda, I think was one of them they released. Yeah, they're not. They haven't even scratched the surface of this crap. And already they have more information of what they know to do with. It is flat ridiculous how much information they have already. But they did it smart, at least. I give them credit for that because they didn't just subpoena, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. They subpoenaed the entire family. That's how they found out that it was between 9 and 12 different family members that have been receiving payments from no less than, I don't even remember how many LLCs. I don't remember. A lot. A lot. The Biden family makes Capones look like Boy Scouts. Yeah. The whole adage of follow the money, it's really hard to do. One said transaction was done over the course of, I think it was 2 or 3 months, over $1 million that was transferred to 3 different people. And a big key in this was the Hunter Biden laptop. Access to that. They found out a lot of crap on that one. It was funny because while, they were giving Biden a talking point during the 2020 debates between Biden and Trump, with the 51 different people that signed something that said, oh, this just looks to me like Russia propaganda. Before they even did that, they verified the laptop. They knew it was real. So you have the FBI and the CIA influencing the outcome of an election. Election tampering. It's what you had. They had already verified the laptop They already knew that it was real. They already knew that the information on that was genuine. They didn't freak out in the onset of this because it wasn't a week after that the FBI got the laptop. They went back to the guy and said, hey, do you have any more copies of this? And the guy said, no, I didn't make any copies. Whew. I wonder how big the black hole would have been that they shoved him in had he said yes. Because I don't doubt for 1 second that if he said, yeah, I got some copies, I'm sure that they were ready and willing to go in there, search everything, and find it because they knew how damning that laptop was because they had already verified it right then and there. A week after they got it in their possession, the FBI knew that it was legitimate. They knew that it was bad for Biden, for Joe, for his entire family. And we know this because otherwise, why would the FBI go back to the guy and say, do you have any copies? That's something that I'm not hearing anywhere. I mean, people are too busy asking the question of what did they know and when did they know it? Well, I think it's pretty clear they knew it was legitimate a week after they got it. It's pretty stinking clear to me. Yeah, whatever. I hate pop-ups that won't go anywhere. I have an article that, let me find the headline. There we go. All right, this headline is from Fox News. Democrats and independent voters alarmed over new allegations against Biden family could be treasonous. Treasonous doesn't even begin to cover what's going on. Because one of the other things that they're throwing around here, especially with, Hunter Biden, he's a foreign agent. FARA Act is what they're talking about, the Foreign Agent Registration Act, I think is what that stands for, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't register as a foreign agent. And his laptop, with the different money and everything else that he has been given, that was donated to him, it is very, very clear that he is a foreign agent. They've already arrested for somebody in the Trump campaign for that, and this is one of the things they're throwing around. Because that's a felony. When this finally comes to head, there's going to be no running away from what the Biden family did. No running away from it. No hiding it. There's nothing at this point that they can do. The truth is going to come out. The only question is how many people are actually going to care? My main thing is, what if? I like playing that game from time to time. What if? Because I'm sorry, we have a dual justice system. We have a justice system that is used for Republicans, and we have a justice system that is used for Democrats. And we have a justice system that's used for, top tier Democrats like the Clintons and the Bidens and the Obamas. It doesn't matter what they do, they can do no wrong. That's what it is for the Clintons and the Bidens and the Obamas. And it doesn't matter what they do, they can't do no right with Trump. And then you have people that, it depends on what kind of mood we're in as to what we're going to let you get away with. And that's what it's like for the rest of Republicans. We don't just have a two-tier justice system. It's more like a 3 or a 4. We do not have equal application of the law. If we did, Biden would be impeached already. Heck, he'd probably be in jail already. And Hunter Biden would definitely be in jail. I mean, he lied on a federal gun application. Felony. What happens in this country? How mad are Americans going to get if he walks away scot-free? What happens? Nothing happened to Hillary. She got away. She got away clean. Nothing. What's going to happen? So what if they're finding out all this information? Yeah, Brandon puts in and goes, if you think the justice system is for you, you're sorely mistaken. Absolutely. It's not. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, what do people not pay attention? Have they never heard the Miranda rights? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. Now, what was that was in there? Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. It amazes me how, a cop can stand up and go on get put in the chair and be a witness for the prosecution. Because everything you say can and will be used against you. But the defense can't use them. The defense can't put them up there for the cop to testify on your behalf, because then it's classified as just hearsay. Oh, that's just hearsay. Wait a second. You mean to tell me that his testimony can be used against me, but yet it can't be used for me, to my benefit? That's exactly what we're saying. That's exactly what the Miranda rights says. It's already skewed against you and you don't even realize it. Why do you think you're not supposed to talk to cops? Because the more you talk, the more... Oh, holy crap. Because the more you talk, the more that you're probably going to say something that is going to be bad. Now, I don't know if I screwed anything up right there. I shut down something. Holy crap. Yeah, I don't know if I screwed up right there. I hope I didn't. I don't think I did. Okay. Anyway, if there was any hiccups in there, let me know. I accidentally closed out the window for everything. Yeah, anywho. Whew, that was yeah. So yeah. The Miranda rights already says that everything is skewed against you, and people just don't seem to understand that. They just don't seem to acknowledge that. That doesn't really seem to, yeah. I don't get it. He says, jackass, why? Did it actually go down on there? I hope not. I hit a button and it closed down it closed down the Chrome and everything went down. It said that the stream's still up and going, but I don't know. Yeah. It looked like I did something stupid. It happens though. Oh, okay, good. He says no. So good. I'm glad nothing, no hiccup, nothing happened. I'm glad. Yeah. You ever had one of them instances where we're like, oh boy, that was stupid. I have a button programmed in here to shut things down, and it's really nice unless I accidentally press the button. You're not supposed to do that. Just throwing that out there. But yeah. You know what? That's actually all I got, truth be told. That's it. Lawless. When the Attorney General, when the DA, when the President of the United States himself fails at his job to faithfully execute the laws of the land, what you have going on is people are made to make a choice. Defend themselves or just let bad people do bad things. And that is a choice that so many Americans are having to make right now. From an out of control open border, 600,000 people that are anywhere up to 100,000 that's on the border right now, and 500,000 that is on the way, where lawlessness is reigning in the streets of most every single city across the country. You have the Wild West. When lawlessness reigns, people are forced to do what they don't want to do. That's what happens. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. That's it. That is the show. Y'all have yourself a great one. Until next time.
This has been The Ho-Ho Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpickle.com. Until next time.